All right, Limo here, and today we're going to talk about how to build a social circle in less than 4 hours a week. Now, I know some of you might be thinking, well, Limo, I live in a small town. Why would I build a social circle here? I pretty much know everyone, and yeah, it's not that interesting. It's a small city, right? And I see a lot of guys giving me that. And I used to live in smaller cities. Even now, I live in Tallinn, Estonia, which is a pretty small city compared to Paris or London or New York or Miami or whatever. It's very cozy here. There's like 400,000 people, right, in this city. When you compare that to Dubai or Paris, it's nothing, right? But still, what's good when you live in a smaller city is that you can easily get to the top of the food chain. It's easier to access the top because there's fewer people, right? And I've noticed this even, I was living in Canada, in Montreal. Montreal is a pretty, it's kind of a bigger city than Tallinn, Estonia, but it's still not that big. And, you can get to know the top of the top tier people very quickly, right? So that's what's good when you live in a smaller city is you can access the top of the food chain quicker. Now, there's different levels to small, right? If you live in some farm and there's only like 100 people, then it's going to be hard. But if you live in a city where there's more than 10,000 people, 20,000 people, well, that's enough to work with. That's enough to work with. And you can always move. You're not a tree. You can always move later on. But you have a social circle whether you know it or not. Like your parents are your social circle. Your parents, your cousins, your neighbor, whoever the fuck you are talking to, that's kind of your social circle. Like your friends from high school, they're all part of your social circle. And that might be a social circle that you don't really like right now. Maybe you feel like your social circle is very limiting and you feel like, yeah, that's not the social circle that you're proud of. Well, at least you have something to work with and you can always expand it. And that's the purpose of this video. I'm going to show you how to expand your social circle. Now, if you're fortunate to live in a bigger city, like Paris, Dubai, Miami, LA, whatever city, then there's no excuse. Like you can literally accomplish anything you want with your social circle. It's only up to you and the social circle systems that you've put in place and the amount of action you take. If you take a lot of action on the right things, the sky's the limit. Like you can literally access some of the most aristocratic circles or some of the most influential circles in your city. Like if you live in LA, you are literally 1 or 2 connections away from just being at Leonardo DiCaprio's mansion or being at some celebrity's mansion or whatever, right? And I have some friends who are in LA and literally like one day they were invited to a party at Drake's house, which is kind of crazy. It was a few years ago now, but they told me the story because they knew a guy who was basically a very good friend of their producer. And anyways, it's a long story, but building a social circle is super important. Not only is it gonna make you more fulfilled, because if you don't have any friends and you feel like you're just this lonely guy just doing the same stuff, then life is going to get very lonely and it's going to get very repetitive. Like you're always going to date a girl, fuck a girl, and then that's it, back to work. You don't have any friends, you don't have any cool events going on, and it's just lonely and a bit sad, It's a bit sad. It's a sad reality. Whereas when you have a lot of friends, people know you, you go to a place, people greet you well, you have connections, etc., life becomes easy. Not only is it going to help you with women, but even like it just becomes better. Like now, when I go to the gym right now, because I've been here for 2 years now, and I've been training at this gym, my gym, where I'm at, for almost 2 years as well. And because I train there every day, I pretty much see the same people every day. And I made a ton of friends. Like now I'm pretty much a celebrity at the gym. I go to the gym, hey, what's up, Marco? Hey, what's up, Sophia? Oh, what's up, Carla? Hey, what's going on? And I'm just like, everybody says hi to me. And we have even inside jokes now. I have inside jokes with girls as well that I met in the sauna or in the pool. Like it's so easy. When you build a social circle, it's so easy. And all the girls that I meet, whether at the gym, from a cold approach, from anywhere, I can bring her and invite her to my social circle. That's what's good. Because once you build something like a social circle that has enough people, and you can start small with like a few, like even 5 people, that's a social circle. Like maybe 3 guy friends and 2 girls, that's a social circle, that's enough. But once you have something, then you can invite people to come along, and it's way easier to just make connections and network. So right now, if I meet another business owner here, I can invite him to one of my parties. I can invite him to come grab drinks with me and 2, 3 girlfriends that I know and 2, 3 guy friends, because I have a social circle now. I'm not this loner guy. So that's super important. It's gonna open up a lot of opportunities. I met a lot of cool guys through other people in my social circle, for business, for example. But even with women, I mean, when you go to a club with 2, 3, 4 girls next to you, then it's super easy to attract more girls because you have all the pre-selection and it's just easier. Girls trust you more easily. They see that, okay, yeah, this guy, he's with a few girls, so he must be cool. So you're gonna get away with much more. Even if your game sucks, because you have pre-selection and because you have cool people around you, you can get away with much more, right? Look at Dan Bilzerian. Dan Bilzerian, when he goes to a club, he doesn't need to have good game. He has already everything that speaks for himself. He has girls around, he has a good table, a good real estate in the club. So the girls are automatically interested. They're automatically interested, even if his game sucks, even if he doesn't speak at all. They want to fuck him for some reason, right? Because this guy communicates status, communicates pre-selection, communicates high value. So it's just that. So you got to build a social circle. That's the first thing I want to say. You got to build it. And you need to have this new in town mentality. Like, I know a lot of you guys think like, oh, I've been here for 5 years. I know pretty much anybody. I don't need new friends. And you see all these songs like from Drake, no new friends, no new friends, no new friends, no new. And it's like, no, you need friends, bro. You need friends. And I know, yeah, I mean, a guy who's friend with everybody is not a good thing as well, because you don't want to be the guy who's fake with everyone and who has a ton of friends. But you want to be a guy who has strategic friendships that can lead to mutual, fruitful collaborations, whether for collaborating on like a party or something, but even collaborating on business, collaborating on just doing stuff in real life. So it's not about being friends with everyone, because a friend to all is a friend to none. But you want to be friends with strategic people and have a lot of acquaintances that you can potentially leverage. Hey, by the way, thanks again for listening to this podcast. If you're on Spotify or Apple or Google, all I ask from you is to put a 5-star review in whatever platform you're using. I'm not asking anything from you. I'm not running any ads, any sponsorship, anything. All I'm asking is, if you enjoy this podcast, leave a 5-star review so that we can increase our rank and people can hear more about this podcast. And if you have any friends of yours who are interested in learning more about dating, about making money, about networking, traveling, then definitely share this podcast with your friends. I will be forever grateful. And thanks again for watching this podcast. And by the way, if you reshare this podcast on your story on Instagram, I will reshare it and repost it myself and tag you in my story as well. So now that I've said this, let's continue with the podcast. So you need to have this new in town mentality. Imagine that right now you just landed in your city and you don't know anyone and you have to talk to people. You have to just make connection. What would you change? You would probably start talking to people. Start at least making a friend or two at the gym, or at least, talking to your neighbor. Have this new in-town mentality where anytime you can potentially talk to someone, try to talk. Ask them where they're from. Ask them what they do, etc. And that's gonna lead to you connecting with them. Every single connection that I've made, yes, sometimes people approach me and talk to me by themselves, but most of the time, I'm the one making the first move. Don't wait for people to make the first move. Make the first move. Another thing is, a lot of you guys, because you only work at home, you don't get to go out. You just go to the gym and then go home. Or you don't even go to the gym at all, which is sad. You should go to the gym because you can meet a lot of girls, you can meet a lot of people, it's good for your health, and literally there's no downside. But if you work on your computer all day and you never go out, then it's going to be hard. So one of the things that you need to do if you want to build your social circle is you need to go out at least a few hours a week. Like maybe take a class once a week. That's going to take you 1 hour. Just take a class somewhere, a boxing class, a yoga class, whatever class. Go to some meetup, maybe once a week, right? You go to some meetup, you can go to meetup.com or Eventbrite or any meetup app, and you can find meetups in your city. Try to go out maybe to a bar or to a club a few times a month, and that's gonna lead you to meeting people. Also, anytime you make a connection, anytime you meet a girl or you meet a guy, take their contact, take their Instagram, take their phone number. That way you have them as a contact, and you can later on foster a deeper thing. Like you can invite them somewhere, or you can, if it's a girl, you can date her and then invite her to a party or invite her to go out and she can bring some friends. One of the biggest hack to building a social circle is to invite people to a specific event and then tell them to bring friends. That's literally how I've done it most of the time. I start creating a first event. So for example, I create like a pre-drinks in my apartment. Like I say, okay, I'm gonna host a party in my apartment. Here's the address. And I invite like maybe 4 or 5 guys, 5 to 10 girls. And I tell all the girls to bring friends. And then we end up with 20 girls. Because if I tell each girl to bring friends, and let's say I tell 5 girls to come and I tell them each to bring friends and they bring each like 1 or 2 friends, then I can end up with 15 or 20 girls, right? And so then once you have all of that, it's very easy to then re-invite these girls to another event and another event and another event. So you have to start by creating one event somewhere. Once you meet a lot of people from meetups, from classes, from cold approaching people, then you need to kind of bring some of them to an event, because yes, they could invite you themselves, but you don't want to wait for that. You want to create your own event at some point. And so if you have your own place and your place is noise friendly, like you don't have like some bad neighbors who are gonna just knock at your door whenever you make a little bit of noise, then you can host a small container event of like 5 to 10 people in your apartment. And that's a very small event. And you just start building a seed for your overall social circle. Now you can do something bigger. If you have a bigger apartment, you can host a 20 persons event, 30, 40, depends the size of your house, your apartment. Now, if you don't have an apartment that's suitable or a house that's suitable for that, then you can invite them all to a restaurant. You can invite them all to a bar. You can say, hey guys, next week I'm gonna host like this dinner, or I'm gonna book a table with some friends. Join us and bring friends if you want. And then you just make a reservation at that restaurant for 8 people or 12 or 15 people. I don't know how many people you want to invite. And you tell them all. And you can tell these people to bring some friends as well. And that creates a seed for your social circle. And then it's very easy to create another event with them if it goes well, right? So it's very cool. And then, once you create one event, then you can add all these people on Instagram or on WhatsApp. You can even create a group. One thing I did very early is once I meet a couple people in a city, I create a WhatsApp group with them. I say, hey, I'm going to add you to a WhatsApp group. There's a couple guys who are also here, and we can keep in touch that way if there's an event or something. And these guys are really cool. You should connect with them. And no one is going to tell you no. No one is going to tell you, no, don't add me to that group. I don't want to. Obviously, everyone is going to say, yeah, okay, thank you. And they're going to thank you for that. And they're going to perceive you as a guy who gives value because you're adding them to a group. You become the connector between people. And I do this with girls as well. Apart from the girls I date, I can also become the connector between girls. I can say, hey, I'm going to add you to a group. I have like a couple female friends here who are super cool and we always go out, etc. I can add you to a group. And then I invite the girls to a WhatsApp group. And literally here I have a WhatsApp group with like 35 girls, almost, like 34 now. 34 girls in my city. And whenever I have an event or something, I tell them, hey guys, we're going to this place, come. Or hey guys, I'm DJing at this place. You guys want to come? And there's at least a few girls who are going to come. So it starts small. that WhatsApp group started with 2 girls that I was connecting together. And then I've added a third one and a fourth one, a fifth one. And then it's easy. And then, whenever they bring friends, I also invite their friends to the WhatsApp group later. Very easily, you tell them all, hey, like we're going to this place next week, who wants to join? There's probably going to be some people who can't make it, but there are going to be some people who will make it and who will come. In literally 5 to 10 weeks, you can have a WhatsApp group with 50 girls in your city, 30 to 50 girls. You can have a group of guys as well on WhatsApp. I don't recommend merging the guys and the girls in the same WhatsApp group, by the way. I've done it in the past. It can be cool with your very, very close. You can do a very close one, a close circle with like a few guys and a few girls, but you also want to have some groups where it's only guys and maybe some groups where it's only girls as well. It's better. That's how I've done it. And it worked pretty well in the past. Because otherwise the guys are always going to hate on the girls too much and all of that. It's better if you become the manager of that group of girls yourself and no other guys. You can have a co-founder of that group, like maybe a friend that you trust, but don't bring every single guy to that group where there's all the girls you know. Now you can merge them if you create a party or something, but yeah, that's what I recommend. Anyways, so create that social circle that way. Anytime you meet people, take their contact. If they're really cool, potentially invite them to an event and then invite them to a WhatsApp group or a group where you can contain all the acquaintances you meet. And that's how you grow your social circle. Now, there's so many other things. One thing I've done is creating a podcast. So what's good is, especially if you're a business owner, is you create a podcast, which is honestly almost free. It's free to build a podcast nowadays. Like you can find plenty of platforms which are free. And from that podcast, you can interview people. And you can literally interview anyone. You can interview girls. You can invite girls to your podcast. You can interview business owners. You can interview anyone. And I can guarantee you that pretty much anyone would be happy to just talk about themselves on your podcast, right? And talk about what they do. And that podcast not only allows you to build an audience outside of your city, etc., but it also allows you to have a reason to connect with people. So now if I want to connect with a super successful guy in my city, I can reach out to him and I can say, hey, I love what you're doing. Respect, man. I really love what you're posting and what you're doing, blah, blah, blah. I have a podcast. I would love to invite you on my podcast. I would love to share your story with my audience, etc. And that could potentially help you with your business and you will get potentially more reach, etc. And no one told me no most of the time. I've always had yeses because it's a win-win. It's a win-win situation. So a podcast is a great thing. Plus it allows you to document your life. Imagine your grandkids in 10, 20, 30 years, they're going to listen to your podcast, or even yourself, like just looking back at all the connections you've made through that podcast. It's a beautiful journey. So having a podcast is a beautiful thing. Setting up a few events, at least a few times a month, maybe twice a month, you create an event, you invite people to a restaurant, to a bar, to your own apartment, you create a container event. Now there's also some other strategies where you can create photo shoots with some models and some photographers, and this is some more advanced stuff that I teach as well in my programs. But there are so many things, literally. So I've given you a few nuggets here in this video, but know that there's so much more when it comes to social circle. And in less than 4 hours a week, to be honest, even less than that, you can just grow your social circle consistently by taking a few classes, going to meetups, meeting people in real life, connecting with them. And then a few times a month or maybe once a week, you create a container event or you invite people to come along to whatever you're doing. If you're going to a club or a bar, you can invite a couple people to come along with you, right? If there's a football game or something, you can just invite people to come along. If you're going to a restaurant, you can invite people to come along. Here, for example, we have a group for a poker game once a week. So once a week, we do a poker game at some fancy cigar lounge here. And that's a social circle group that I have just for poker. And we just play and we talk about business, we talk about everything, right? And so there are so many things you can do, but you got to start. The sooner you start, the sooner it's going to build up and it's going to scale, right? And when you move later on in another city, well, all the stuff you've been doing in your current city, you can replicate it. And it's going to be way easier if you've already done it in the past. That's why myself, I've moved a lot of times. Like I've moved from Tunisia to Montreal, and then from Montreal to Paris, from Paris to Romania, from Romania to Estonia, and then I also lived a bit in the UK, I lived a bit in Spain. So yeah, I mean, once you understand what to do with your social circle, you can replicate that anywhere. Now anywhere I go, I can go to any city, put me on any city in the world. I bet you in 1 month, I will make at least a few friends, have a few female friends, have people I can hang out with, start creating events, etc. In 1 month, I will have a social circle, no doubt. No doubt I will have at least a group with a few girls, a few guys, cool people I can go out with. So it's a skill and it takes a bit of action, but once you understand what to do and you do it, it's very, very powerful. So anyways, I don't want to make this video too long. I hope you enjoyed this video. And if you enjoyed this video, put a like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you on the next video. Now, don't forget to check out the links in the description. We have a free community. We have a premium community with plenty of resources, with all my programs and everything. You can also book a call with my team where we can give you a game plan to start crushing it as well, much, much faster. So anyways, hope you enjoyed this video. See you soon. Take care.